Substitute teaching and basketball are very similar. And let me explain why. So in basketball, the rules are that you can't foul, which you know that people are going to foul. And the consequence there is that the person who got fouled has to shoot at the foul line. I can't talk. You're not allowed to double dribble or walk, meaning double dribble is that you have like two hands on the ball, or a walk is you're holding the ball and you move your feet more than one time. You can have a pivot foot and you can pivot, but you're not allowed to like walk with the ball. Or you can't step out of bounds. If you step out of bounds, if you do all those, stepping out of bounds, you double dribble, you walk, it is the ball will be in possession of the other team. So those are the consequences. So these rules or expectations of the game is so that the game can be played smoothly. Now we know that someone's going to get fouled. We know that there's going to be someone who accidentally gets the ball out of bounds or steps out of bounds and walks and double dribbles. We know that, right? It's part of the game. But the referee is the one that's going to call you out if you're the basketball player and say, hey, you can't do that. And it's going to switch to the other team. So going on into substitute teaching, we're in a classroom and we know that there's going to be behaviors. It's part of the job, okay? It's part of being a teacher and a substitute teacher, part of being a principal, whatever you are. Just it's part of it. Kids misbehave and we have to have the consequences in order to hold them accountable. So when you go into a room, you set expectations so that way your day can go smoothly, okay? So it could be something like cell phones in class, talking out loud while you're trying to talk, not doing their work, and it could be extreme, it's not that extreme, but it's extreme, throwing things across the room at another student. And I'm talking about like erasers and something else. So we know that may happen in a classroom, but if you set your expectations clearly, saying, now, these are all general rules from K to 12, and some grades might not have cell phones, and that's okay. But this is just a general example. You state your expectations clear in the beginning of the class or the beginning of the period, so that way you can run your day smoothly, right? So no cell phones in class or while you're working. No throwing things, or you can say, be respectful to objects in this classroom. Be respectful to other people in this classroom and me. I'm going to be respectful of you. It could be, you need to make sure that you're doing your work. And I don't think I said this, but no talking when the teacher's talking, meaning you're the teacher. Even though you're a substitute teacher today. Oh, Gracie, you're the teacher. So you can state that. If you don't want them talking, you can say that. So anyways, that's why it is similar, because just like in a basketball game, a person fouls. The consequence is that whoever they fouled is going to shoot a foul shot. Okay? And that can go against the other team. So that's like 2 points possibly that the other team can get if you foul. Okay? Now, there wouldn't be any points taken in the classroom, but you could say something like, no cell phones during class, or I will take them until the end of the period. Okay, so you're like the referee there. Or we're going to be talking one person at a time. Or how about we are going to be working hard for what your teacher has planned for you today, and I will walk around and make sure that you're doing it. If I catch you doing it, I will need to write your name down, and your teacher will have the consequences for you for not doing your work. Something along those lines. And that's going to help your day go smoothly, just like the rules in basketball are going to help the game go smoothly. And again, we know that behaviors are going to happen, just like we know fouls are going to happen and people are going to accidentally step out of bounds. It's just part of the game in substitute teaching and in basketball. Okay, so expectations are just to make your life easier as a sub. It really just shows them like who's boss in the room, you know? And I think by setting expectations, it shows them that you really care, that you're really like, you're serious about being in the room. Because if you don't set any expectations, you're just going to be a doormat. You are going to be a doormat. And why I know this? Because I did that and I became a doormat. And what happens is then you start being like, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's part of the rules. You can't do that. And the students are going to say to you,
you didn't say that in the beginning of the class.
For one. And then think about it again in basketball. If you've been at a basketball game and you know when a referee doesn't call walking, the stands and everyone is going to be yelling at that referee and at that player. That player just walked and like blah, blah, blah. Like, do your job. It's like, right? So when you set that expectation clearly and you have your consequence for it, which could be, in your case, as a substitute teacher, just writing their name down, then it just helps you go smoothly and they know what to expect from you. And also think of it too as a boundary. So your boundaries is you don't want them talking while they're working and no cell phone use while they're working. If those are your two things, that's like a boundary, right? You're setting that for the class so that you know you're doing what the teacher has on the lesson plan for you, and you know that the students are doing what they're supposed to do. And again, sometimes it's not going to be exactly how we want it to be. And we can't always control so much of the behaviors, unfortunately, but we can at least try. So if you try with expectations, I think that you will realize how effective they really are. So I'm going to give you an example like I'm in the class so that you guys can understand what I mean by setting expectations. And this will be something for high school, and I'm just going to pretend. So here it goes. Hi guys, my name is Mrs. Watts. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. So as you guys are getting out your computers, I want you guys to open up Blackboard. You guys probably already know what your assignment is on there, but your teacher has you guys working on your essay. And after your essay, if you guys are like towards the end, once you're done with that, you can turn that into your teacher, and then they want you to just fill out this worksheet really quick, and then you can bring it up to me at the end and I will collect it. Just so you know, I'm going to be walking around the room. Once you're done with your essays, if you guys can please show me your essay that you completed it in the worksheet, then you guys can go and get your cell phones. So some other expectations that I have for you other than you're working is I want you to, of course, work hard. We just talked about that. Be respectful of your classmates, of me. I'm going to be respectful of you, and I expect the same respect back. And be kind and learn something new today. It doesn't matter if it's in this class, if it's in your math class, or if it's something related outside of school. Just learn something new and have fun with it. So there, I set expectations. It was probably long drawn out based on not being in a classroom. But in that scenario, I had them have the time to get out their blackboards, and they're already sitting in their seats typically for high school. And so as they're getting it out, I'm telling them what they're doing, but also stating that like you need to be working hard, you need to be respectful, and then just learn something new. And they don't have to be hard. That's the one thing. And I think that sometimes we overthink the expectations, like what rules or anything that I can set in stone. But it's like, it doesn't have to be super hard. Make it something that's super simple, but effective, that you will be able to do your job and they will be able to follow through with that. And then again, with your expectations, I feel like we're all different in how we do consequences, but I would just say, like, write their names down. If they ask you, like, okay, like, why do I have to put my cell phone away? Well, I want you to work. If you don't put your cell phone away today, I'm going to write your name down to your teacher. And that's it. So I like to always give a why for the expectations. That way, like, in this case, they kind of know, like, it's their education. So, like, trying to just get you to work here. But it's important to just say, like, it's just to be fair. It's just to be fair. Again, going back to basketball, the reason we have the rules in basketball is to be fair, so that whoever's ball or possession it is to be on offense, they then have the ability to score on behalf of the other team. So I hope my explanation helped you understand expectations a little bit more, since I've had a lot of questions on this. And let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next video.